Hi guys, welcome back to Cernys Kids. Today we are doing a virtual road trip to Texas today.
Someone's got the hiccups. All right. If you don't have it,
go to cernysjourneys.com to get your map.
it's on the home page. You can also click on the blog so you can follow us along or create your own journeys. All right, as Cora said, we are doing Texas today. So Texas was the 28th state to join the United States in 1845. It is the second largest state. The first one is Alaska. All right, guys. It's considered the Lone Star State. The capital is Austin, but the biggest city is Houston. Borders are New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, the Gulf of Mexico, and the country of Mexico. So currently, over 29 million people live in Texas. So that's a lot of people.
Well, it is a big state.
It is a big state. It's the biggest state in the continental, like in the lower 48. So you're absolutely right. And do you remember you can fit, wasn't it like 40 Rhode Islands or something in the state of Texas?
In Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska, but I'm assuming it's probably very similar. If not, very, very similar.
How is Texas the second?
Well, because Alaska doesn't seem as big because it's all up here. But we can talk about that after this. So we're going to go to a few places today. First place we're going to go to is the George W. Bush Presidential Library. And that is in Dallas. So obviously we know, or you may not know, there was two George Bushes that served as a president. George W. Bush, he had a father who was the 41st president, George H.W. Bush president. He also has a presidential library in Texas as well. But we're going to talk about the 43rd president, George W. Bush. He was our president from 2001 to 2009. And he was also the governor of Texas, the 46th governor of Texas from 1995 to the year 2000. And so he was the second sitting president who was the son of a father who was president. So the first one was John Quincy Adams. So that's kind of an interesting fact, don't you think?
Yeah.
So one of the main things about George W. Bush, he was a president during the 9/11 attacks. And so one of the biggest things that he was known for is that when the 9/11 attacks happened, he was the one who launched the war on terror. So that's kind of interesting. So I wanted to talk a little bit about his Presidential Library Museum. There are so many things to do. You can virtually tour it. You can look at videos. You can look at some of his inauguration speech. You can look at some of the White House photo archives. I think the funnest thing though is the White House Barney cams. Do you guys know what the Barney cams are? So they had two dogs. They were terriers, Scottish Terrier dogs. And one of them was named Barney and one of them was Miss Beasley. And they were black. And they were so popular, these two little dogs, that they actually had their own series, video series during the holidays in which the White House taped them. So they had a series from 2002 to 2008. And you can find this on the Presidential Library archives, and you can watch some previous videos of the White House dogs.
They've been filmed for 6 years.
Yeah. They were like, everybody knew who those dogs were. It was kind of funny.
That's so cool.
I know. So you can
Imagine if you were one of them.
Yeah. So you can go on George W. Bush Library. All this information will be down below, and you can actually watch the Barney cams. All right, so the next stop we're going to go to the Alamo. Have you guys heard of the Alamo? Okay, well, you can do a virtual tour of the Alamo. And so this is the Alamo, guys. I'll show you a quick picture of it just so you can see it. Oops, I'm going too fast. But anyways, the Alamo is actually the Alamo Mission in San Antonio. So it's in San Antonio, and it was originally known as Misión San Antonio de Valero. And so it's a historic Spanish mission, and it was a fortress. And it was founded in the 18th century by the Roman Catholic missionaries. And so it was famous because of the Battle of the Alamo, February 23rd through March 6th, 1836, in which that was a pivotal time in which the Mexican army and the Texas army, so the Texas Revolution, came and they had a battle. And because the Mexican army actually won this battle, that formed a whole bunch of allies within the Texan community to form a bigger, stronger army. And so what happened is they went in then on April 21st, that same year, 1836, and they went into the Battle of Saventino, I think is how it's called, and they ended the rebellion. And so this is actually a pretty cool spot because it really marked a change in Texas history. So, the last place we're going to go to is the Houston Museum of Natural Science. And Jamin found this, right, Jamin? And I kind of went down a rabbit hole. So I started looking at the Hammond Hall of Texas Coastal Ecology. Wow, I can't talk today. And then it kind of led me to another path, and I ended up looking at the Texas Parks and Wildlife. And this led me to whooping cranes. Cora, show the whooping crane. So we made our own whooping crane, which you can actually do too if you go to the Texas Parks and Wildlife department. They actually have some fun stuff that kids can do, and one of them is making your own whooping crane. So I wanted to talk about whooping cranes because they're a really, really cool bird. In fact, they're the tallest American bird, and so there's only one in one of their ancestors, the sandhill cranes, that live in North America, and unfortunately, they're endangered. And so, what that means?
Whales?
They are, and so there's less than 900 of these left, and so they're doing a lot to conserve and really help the species. And so wanted to tell you a little bit about it because maybe we can do something to help, right? I don't know if we can, but we can. But the cool thing about it is we are on one of the migration paths for whooping cranes. So we've actually seen some. They go from Florida all the way up to Wisconsin. They also go from Texas all the way up to Canada. And so they are named because they have a whooping sound. Do you remember how they sounded in the video that you were watching? Was it whoop, whoop? Kind of like that. I'm not very good at making noises. But so that's why they're named the whooping crane. Whoop. Whoop. So, and again, I already mentioned, they are one of the 2 remaining crane species in North America, them and the sandhill cranes. And so they live about 22 to 24 years of age. And every year, March, April, when a mature female becomes of age, she can lay eggs, and she'll usually have 1 to 2 eggs. And so what normally happens is she lays 2, one won't make it. So that's probably another reason why the species isn't doing so well. But another part of that is that people illegally hunt them, as well as a lot of their natural habitats are being destroyed. And so we need to figure out how to protect those. But anyways, they're between 4.25 to 5.25 feet tall. So they're about as tall as Mama. Some of them are. I know.
As me?
They're taller. They're taller than you. Crazy, huh?
Oh.
I know.
Taller than him?
Yep.
Taller than.
Yep.
The house?
Yep, and they're usually between 10 to 20 pounds. And their wingspan, because they're so big, their wingspan is about 7.5 feet long. So probably about the length of this couch, which is kind of crazy. And they actually eat not only meat, but they also eat vegetables as well. So fish, and they eat crabs whole, and then they'll eat some aquatic vegetation as well. So yeah. I mean, no, they don't get silly girl. So anyways, that is our virtual road trip to Texas. Hopefully you had a good time and you enjoyed yourself.
Bye guys, make sure to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.